ways to streamline your practicing, especially when it comes to technical exercises. But what's the best way to do that? And how have people for over 100 years now been able to accomplish this and have the wealth of information that we can use? Well, I'm going to answer that question for you today in this video.
My name is Jennifer Toro Mazzoni. I've been playing the flute for over 30 years and play in a duo with my husband, Matt. My goal is to share the amazing flute knowledge that I've gained from years of study to help others on their own flute journeys.
So today, I'd like to help you with the idea of the technical exercise. There are lots out there. As you see, I have my stack here, but I find that there are a few books that surpass the rest and give me that edge that I need as a flute player. And I'm going to go to the very first one that my teacher gave me when I was 16 years old, and that's the Daily Exercises for Flute by Andre Maquarre. I put the link down in the description. This book is like $10, and this will give you a wealth of technical knowledge and ability in these short pages. This is original, so it's a little vintage, but every exercise in here tests a different element of your flute playing. And as you go and play through all 12 keys in this book, you'll learn how to do things like play loud low notes or smooth intervals from the very low C up to the high octave, third octave. And you're going to be doing that without spending hours a day in the practice room, because I know we all have busy lives. So let's dive in, and I'll tell you a really big secret on how this is all possible at the end of this video, so stay tuned. First off, the exercise I just played is the very first exercise in the book, and it's like a scale exercise. So this does not replace your scales where you're playing tonic note to tonic note, but this does give you the ability to work on smoothness of your sound, technique, fingers, and you can play slowly. One thing I always tell my students at the beginning when they're learning this is to play slowly. You do not have to race to the finish line, but very thoughtfully listening for each interval. Listening and making sure that everything is smooth and even. It's okay if it's not, because you're learning, but make sure that you're listening for that and growing. The second exercise is a chromatic scale, but it's not quite a chromatic scale. There's a little bit of fun in there, and I find that to be super useful because everything in this book I have been playing in my pieces. As I go into the repertoire, especially the French repertoire, but every possible thing you're going to learn on the flute, those things are represented in this book. Number one is a exercise that has some weird intervals, wonky intervals in it, but also some lovely arpeggios, and so that's a really helpful exercise. Starts out kind of funny. So you're playing low C at the beginning, but it has this really cool smooth sound, and that augmented second is really fun. Number two is awesome. Number two is an example of working on intervals in a really smart way. He brings you into the different arpeggios in the key, and he gives you a chance to work on the widest intervals, the fifths, the octaves, not just the little thirds that you might get in a regular arpeggio. So it's a super valuable exercise. Number three is really chromatic and fun, and actually a challenge as you're reading it, which is great. Number four is a little trill neighbor note exercise. Very fun to play. Number five is another varied arpeggio exercise where you're doing different intervals kind of with a neighbor note on top. So it gives a lot of that, a lot of chromaticism in there too. Number six is great. Number six is all about trills, and it's all about playing trills evenly. Many of my students come to me and their biggest question is, how do I really play a trill and it doesn't sound really strange and alien? And this is the way to work on it with this trill exercise in every key. And then number seven is the end, the celebration of the entire book, and it's where you get intervals, you get chromaticism, you have different parts of your sound, you have different octaves from the high octave to the low octave, all represented. It's my favorite, number seven. So how do I go through all these every day? I'm a busy person, you're a busy person too. This is where the brilliance of this method comes into play. The very first exercise is in C major and A minor, goes through all 12 keys. I have all of my students start by putting a number one next to that exercise. So you see here, this is like number one, C major, A minor. And going through the rest of the book, we put a one next to all of the C major and A minor exercises. So for the very first week that you practice this, you will just be playing in C major and A minor. You don't have to worry about extra sharps and flats. You don't have to worry about anything else except those keys. Then week 2, you do the same thing with F major and D minor, and you get the picture. By 12 weeks of study in this book, you will have played through all 12 major and minor keys on the flute. What a brilliant idea. Then, as you go, and hopefully you will continue, you can play a key a day. So today, my key was B major, and I played all of these exercises in B major. This is how I've been able to stay in shape as a busy performer, a mom, someone who's got a lot going on in my life, and I don't have time to practice as much as I wish. So this is a way to really stay in shape on the flute. All of the different elements of technique are there, and it's become such an amazing resource for me. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have questions or ideas for me, please leave them in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. Check out our website, mazzonimusic.com, for other information about us, for arrangements that we have done for flute and piano, and for more ideas on how to practice. And please subscribe, as we're going to be giving more videos in the coming weeks about how to maximize your practice time and how to give you the best technique possible on your flute journey. Thanks for joining me today. Bye.